Here we go. I am here with Matt Murch, who has found me on Instagram or Facebook. I'm not exactly sure where it was.
It's the Instagram.
It was Instagram, okay. And he messaged me. I think he enjoyed something that he saw. I think that maybe it interested him, and he just decided to kind of chat with me and ask me about when I go to the gym, where I go to the gym at, and come to find out, we go to the same gym. So that's pretty exciting. And we've met up tonight. We just got done doing a light-hearted workout. It wasn't anything too special. Just did some leg stuff. It felt nice. Just, loosen up. Felt real good. So how are you, Matt?
I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah? What have you been up to recently?
I've been doing a lot of traveling from East Coast to West Coast, and it's been a pretty cool journey.
I mean, have you been living in any of these places?
Yeah, I lived in New York for about 6 months.
New York. I've never been to New York.
Yeah, I lived in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn?
It was pretty dope.
I mean, what is that even like to live there?
It's incredible. It's the best way I can describe it is, even though you're surrounded by like 12 million people, you are absolutely alone. You're an island.
12 million people.
You're alone in a sea of people. Because you walk down the street, say here in McDonough, you're going to run into 10 people and everyone recognizes you.
Right.
In New York, you walk down the street, no one even looks at you. You're just completely anonymous.
What's the diversity like there? I heard that there's just all different array of people.
On my block, it was heavily Middle Eastern.
Okay.
So I ate a lot of halal, falafel, that kind of thing.
That's delicious. A new place like that just opened up right down the road.
Oh man, I love falafel.
You have to go try it.
Oh, definitely.
Maybe it'll stack up to the real deal up in New York.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right. So you stayed in Brooklyn for a while. When you were there, did you do anything that was motivational for yourself? Did you have a job? Did you go for walks, jogs? Did you have any groups of people that you like to hang out with or activities that you like to do?
My brother moved with me, and we moved up there initially to help my friend out, help pay some rent.
Okay.
Because him and his girlfriend were going through issues. And then we just ended up living off our savings and not really working that much, but we got to enjoy the city for all that it was. We got to eat a bunch of places, see a bunch of the touristy sites.
What did you do for money while you were there?
Lived off my savings.
You just lived off your savings?
Yeah, I drained all my savings.
You drained it off?
I mean, not all of it, but, a pretty big chunk of it.
Well, I mean, that happens. Some of us don't even have a savings to drain, so I guess that must have been useful.
I don't have any kids. I've got just myself.
I mean, I think he's referring to the fact that I have 4, which is pretty complicated, but I guess they take all of my savings and buy, games and clothes and whatnot. But anyway, so you were there, you were just kind of being free.
Yes.
You didn't have any sort of real specific obligations that you were dealing with.
It was a big part of it was helping my friend out. He's been, I was trying to help him out between him and his girlfriend, but he's been kind of not in a good place for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where once his lease was up in March, we moved him to San Diego.
And why did you choose San Diego? Did you know someone
He
there?
chose San Diego. He works for KPMG, the largest tax firm in the world.
KPMG.
Mm-hmm.
Largest tax firm.
Yep.
I don't even know what that is. What do they do?
They do corporate taxes.
Corporate taxes?
Yeah.
Is this like Wolf of Wall Street stuff? Like
that's
sketchy,
more,
or is this real deal?
I mean, this is real deal.
Okay, but not the IRS.
No.
Okay.
They're the reasons why rich people don't pay taxes.
Okay. That's interesting. It's very cool. So you just drove to San Diego?
Yeah, we loaded up his stuff into his car, and we drove. If we drove straight through, it would only been 42 hours, but we both played disc golf, and we have for almost 10 years. So we made a point to stop almost in every state and play
You were just looking on Google for disc golf places?
Well, there's an app that we use called UDisc, and you put in a zip code or state or whatever region that you're in, and it'll pull up a list of everything that's around you.
I had no idea that even existed. UDisc. Okay, I'm going to have to check that out. It's just an app that shows you where disc golf courses are at.
Yep, and you can also keep your scores, see what tournaments are going on. It's pretty neat.
That's awesome, man. I'm going to have to go out because I threw it one time. We were at a tournament cooking some food there, and I was standing about 4 or 5 feet away from the chains, and I threw it, and I completely missed entirely. So I just decided to give up at that moment.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the best move, but I just did it anyway.
It takes... I mean, I've been playing for 10 years, and there's some days where I'm spot on, and there's other days where I'm like, what am I doing here?
I saw this one guy. He put the disc over his head like a tomahawk.
Hammer throw. Yeah, I'm the best in my group at that.
He launched that thing, man. It was wild. And it's like spinning in the air while it's going, and then it just flattened out, and it landed so gracefully on the grass. It looked almost exactly where he wanted it to be. And it blew my mind that someone could even navigate something like that, just randomly throwing a disc through the air.
Well, each disc has 4 different numbers on them, and the numbers tell you, like, at what angle is it going to bend left, or is it going to bend right? Is it going to rise, or is it going to fall? Is it going to do, like, an S-curve?
That's amazing.
And they have different weights.
I would have absolutely had no idea. I talked to a guy named Mike, and he told me that there's one that's specifically for putting.
Yeah.
And that's just a heavier one that you're throwing. It's got, I remember he said something about the edges they grab a little easier.
Yeah.
Like thicker.
Yeah, they're thicker and have more surface area, so when they hit the chains, they catch.
That's very cool, man. That's very cool. We're going to talk more about that. Hopefully you can take me out and teach me about it a little bit.
Absolutely.
But so, on your way to San Diego, you are stopping off at disc golf courses, I assume sightseeing, getting some good food, and then you just decide... well, I guess you've already decided, but eventually you just make it to San Diego.
Yep.
When you get there, did you know somebody, or did you not know anybody?
Well, I didn't know anybody. He didn't know anybody. He knows someone who lives in L.A.
Okay.
Who actually convinced him to transfer out to San Diego, because she worked for the same company, transferred out to L.A. instead of San Diego, and said, you would love it out here.
Well, that's very cool. How did you guys set up when you got there? I'm sure that there's a million people that just want to, like, get up and go randomly, and they might not know what the best way is to do it.
East Coast and West Coast are completely different mentalities.
Okay.
East Coast is very fast-paced. Like, we're on a mission. We got stuff to do.
Yeah.
West Coast is very relaxed.
So everybody's just kind of chilling.
Everyone's very chill.
That's cool, man.
And
I dig the vibe.
It wasn't for me. I can't function like that. I don't know if it's because I come from a military family and everything's got like a routine or an order, but it's perfect for my friend. That's the perfect environment for him.
The tax guy.
Yeah.
The tax corporate guy decides that he wants to relax. Well, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, he works during tax season, he works 90 hours a week.
Okay, so you got to have the relaxation.
Yeah, so he really needed that.
Okay,
and plus he was done with the snow.
Did you guys? Oh well, I don't. I'm happy that I moved from Michigan and I don't have to deal with snow anymore. Yeah. You miss it once in a while, that hometown nostalgic feeling, you know.
Village ideal.
Yeah, I guess whatever you want to call it, but I don't miss it anymore. I like the warm weather, I think. But so when you get there, you decide to get a place or get a hotel or stay in a tent.
We camped. We stayed with his sister in Virginia because she works in D.C.
Okay.
And then we got a hotel in Alabama, which we'll never do again. Alabama was sketch.
Okay, sketchy.
I think we were in Birmingham, and it was pretty sketch.
Okay.
Then,
don't go to Alabama. It's sketchy.
Then once we got to Louisiana, we found a really awesome free campsite, right on the water.
A free campsite?
Free campsite. And
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't either. I thought you always had to pay $7 or $24 on your campsite.
Yeah.
But he found...
Any kind of amenities there?
There was a typical outdoor bathroom.
Oh, sweet.
Outhouse. Stalls, yeah.
I was in an outhouse one time, and it was on a place called Drummond Island in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Mm-hmm. And I was 12 years old, and it was nighttime, sun had just went down, and we're in the woods. You know, this is the north, real north, right? And a bear walked right around the outhouse with the door shut. The only thing I had was one of those small little pull light lamps with the metal string attached to it. And I remember I could hear him sniffing, and then I panicked, but I didn't make any sound.
Yeah.
And next thing I knew, he started scratching on the outhouse. And I think he smelled me, I would assume. I don't know. But next thing I know, I heard a shotgun go off. And it was my grandpa and he scared away the bear.
Yeah.
But I think that I might have died that night if not for the shotgun. I don't know. It was a pretty well-built outhouse, so maybe not.
Black bears are pretty skittish. If you see a black bear and go, boo, they're going to take off.
I don't even know what kind of bear it was. Was it
It
probably
a black bear.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad that I heard you just lay still.
Well, I mean, for larger brown bears and whatnot on the west side of the country, don't mess with them. But here on the East Coast, we only have black bears, and unless they're rabid or like have been fed by people and are comfortable with people, they're scared of you.
Okay, very cool. All right, so you found a free campsite. You stayed there for a little while. You enjoyed some amenities. How long was it that you stayed?
We just camped as sun was going down.
And you guys brought a tent with you?
Yeah, we brought tents, sleeping bags.
And you're driving a vehicle this whole time, straight across the country?
Right.
Okay, just to make sure. And then after your camping stay, which I'm sure was great because it was free, what did you do after that? We're keep on moving, man.
We got in the car, and we had this funny little bet. Whoever had lost disc golf the day before had to drive.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
But somehow it worked out where we were still switching off. Like, I would win one day, he would win the next day. So it still kind of was even.
It sounds intentional.
No, I swear it wasn't. We are extremely competitive. Like, I would get very salty when I lose. And him too. Like, we would just pout for a minute. But,
Okay.
So we get on the interstate and we head to Texas.
Okay. I don't like driving through Texas whatsoever.
I hated driving through Dallas. It was so stressful. Just because, I mean, the traffic wasn't bad. It was just like the road system was insane. And Dallas is huge.
I drove across the width of Texas. And I remember that for about 100 miles, the only thing that I saw was like open plains on either side of me.
The oil fields?
And the oil.
Yeah.
Just all of those oil fields.
All you can smell is oil. And you're like, oh.
How can you not fall asleep driving through something like that for 100 miles?
We grew up driving to Wisconsin or Massachusetts, so I was kind of used to it.
All right, so anything special happened in Texas, or you guys kind of just blew through there?
My best friend from growing up, he lives in Dallas, so we stayed with him, and I haven't actually spoken with him for about 4 years, and it was good to reconnect.
Yeah.
So we played video games, had a couple beers, just hung out and watched movies. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So you reconnected with someone. That's exciting. I think that anytime that you pass through a city or a state or somewhere that you haven't been to in a long time, but maybe you used to live there and know some people from there, you should always try and say hey. You should always try and reach out, talk to them, just kind of reconnect with the person. It feels really good. I went to Michigan about 4 years back, and it was just nice to see a couple of people that I haven't saw in like, it's been 10 years since I left, and that's a really good feeling to just see some friendly faces that you went to like high school with or middle school with. So I get that, man. That's really cool. That's exciting. So you linked up with your friend, kept going through Texas. You're still on your way to San Diego.
I'm still on the way.
Okay.
And we're driving through, and then we get to New Mexico.
I got 3 tickets in New Mexico.
Well, the funny thing about New Mexico is I was driving because I love the speed limits out there. They're like 80.
Right.
So that means I'm doing like 95.
Yeah. You can get away with it.
Yeah.
Except for me.
I'm usually pretty fortunate on that point.
Okay.
And we're driving along, and all of a sudden we go through like a locust cloud, and like almost every single inch of our windshield is just like it's like a shotgun hit our windshield, and I couldn't see anything, and I scream out, fuck, because I'm going 90 miles per hour, and now I can't see anything, and I had no idea what that was. We had to pull over and scrape all that shit off.
Yeah, man. I don't think that I'm interested in driving through a field of locusts. That's like end time stuff. It's scary, man.
Yeah. It was interesting.
Okay, all right.
Laugh about it now, but it was scary at the time.
Get all the bugs off your car. Before we get to actual San Diego, and then we can go on from there and say what you've done since then, or what you feel you are trying to accomplish now, or what it is that you're going through in your life currently. What would you say that your most memorable experience was from the moment that you left New York to the moment that you got or arrived to San Diego?
It was probably in New Mexico. We we stopped at a national park and camped. Free camping out in the on
More
top
free
of
camping?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
I'm kind of envious that you just find all these free camping places. I don't know what free camp website?
Well, no, you just do like a Google search and you just put in like your zip code, like where you're driving through, and it'll pop all kinds of stuff
Okay,
up.
well, I guess you learn something new every day. All right, so you go on Google Maps, I think, right?
Yeah.
Or just Google.
I think it was just straight Google.
Just straight Google. And you just look at what's around you or look up campsites.
Yep.
And some of them just randomly say, oh, you can just do this for nothing.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's good to know. All right, so most memorable experience.
So we end up getting in pretty late. It was around 4 o'clock when we got to the campsite, because it was about an hour off the interstate where we were, on the way to San Diego. So we drive all these back roads, and for about 45 minutes, there's no cell service. So we're just like, I hope we find it.
No cell service is terrible.
It's scary when you're out in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
And
I was lost in Arizona a few times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we get to the campsite, and it's cold. We climb up on this ridge.
This was wintertime?
No, this was a month ago.
This was a month ago.
Yeah,
but it's nighttime.
It's nighttime in the desert. So,
desert gets cold. I got you.
Pretty chilly. So we climb up on top of this ridge, and set up our cameras to take some cool pictures of the sunrise and all that stuff.
Right.
And we're just out there enjoying it. And then once the sun comes up, we set up the tent and slept for a couple hours, and then just got up the next morning. And he was beat, so he slept most of the day, but I meditated for about 3 hours.
Okay, that's a beautiful thing.
Got sunburned to hell.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't there. I was meditating.
Right.
And then I just went to explore the surroundings. I appreciate the landscape.
Yeah.
But I don't know how people settle there. I don't get the desert environment.
But did you find anything interesting while you were out there just walking around aimlessly, or?
I just learned a lot of things about myself.
That's good,
That's
man.
the first time I had that long of a meditation session.
Yeah.
I usually go, minimum of 30 minutes, max of like an hour and 15. And just to like be completely away from everything, out in the middle of the desert, no distractions. No service.
Right.
I couldn't do anything. And I just went in there.
Let go, man.
And it was awesome.
So I'm going to have to ask you another time about meditation and how you go about doing something like that. I've tried repeatedly with no success so far. But I've been doing a lot of hypnosis things, and they scare me a little bit. But I like it, and it lets me get inside my own head. It's kind of helping me to, internalize and not... I'm always thinking, and
Yeah.
I guess meditation should be thinking, but I think my first goal should be to clear my mind.
That's it.
It's so hard to do.
Well, since we are an overstimulated generation,
Right.
like we're raised on TV and music and video games, it's difficult. So like what I did was, it's very difficult just to absolutely make your mind go blank.
Right.
You're going to hear yourself thinking and think about random stuff. So what I did at first was I put in headphones, and I would make a playlist of lyricless, just instrumental tracks, and just blast it as loud as I could stand it without hurting myself.
Right.
And then just go that way. That way I couldn't focus on the music, and I would just try and blank my mind like that. And
I get you.
After a while, I was able to take the headphones off, and then it takes about 15 minutes to just absolutely clear your mind.
Yeah.
But then once you get there, you see it.
I suppose it's also probably really helpful to not have, you're waking up in the morning and you're in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have there's not a responsibility that you have to attend to at that moment. You don't need to go clean something or go put gas in your car or go to work or any of those sort of things. So I imagine being out there, it's probably really helpful to get into a meditative state.
The only thing that concerned me out there was snakes. I was like, if I get bit by a poisonous snake, we have no cell service, and we were out in the middle of nowhere.
You're done for.
That was it.
You're done for.
That was the only thing on my mind. But once I was meditating, I was fine.
You got to bring a shovel, like a spaded shovel.
Yeah.
You just hit them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to hurt animals.
Or I just don't mess with the snake.
Oh, that makes sense too. All right, so the part of your journey that was most memorable was the fact that you were able to meditate for longer than you ever had before.
Yes.
You were able to just clear your mind and let go and relax and just kind of be one with outside in this environment that you were in. Mm-hmm. If you could choose a different place to do the meditation, you would have, because the desert isn't a place where you'd want to be.
Right.
But
I think maybe because it was out of my comfort zone, I was able to go farther.
That's very cool, man. That's very cool. I dig that.
Because I'm more of a Green Mountain guy.
Right.
I'm an Appalachian kid.
I get you.
At heart.
I get you. So, in San Diego, did you do a lot of fun activities? Can you tell me about San Diego? I've never been there. I can only imagine what it looks like. I imagine a lot of like LGBT. What is it? LGBTQT.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's all I think about is just rainbow flags.
So
I don't know anything else.
I had this fantasy or this idea in my head what San Diego would be, and it's like everyone's healthy, everyone takes care of themselves, everyone is blue. Everyone's more to the left.
Yeah.
And when I get there, I realize the people are just the same over here, except relaxed.
Everybody's just chilling.
Everyone is just more relaxed.
I imagine it's the legal marijuana.
And also that it's 72 degrees 365 days a year.
So it's just perfect.
It rains once a year. And everyone's just pretty chill. There's, a significant homeless problem.
I heard about that. I was listening to a podcast with Joe Rogan the other day.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Tent City.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're, like, if you go to, like, Venice Beach.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at photos on Google of Venice Beach, you see this beautiful beach. But if you actually are there and look just past the frame, Tent City.
I wish that there was something that I could do, but I understand that it's on such a large scale.
Yeah.
That it's almost impossible for a single person to make any kind of a difference. Maybe for a few people's lives, but if you don't have a really significant amount of money, I don't think that you can really accomplish much. If somebody else were going down there and they have an interest or an intent to help another person, or to try and do something kind for someone, to try and get somebody away from that situation or off from drugs or anything, just something to help somebody else, would you recommend anything specifically?
It doesn't take as much money as you would think.
Okay.
These people have nobody.
Yeah.
They just need somebody to talk to, somebody to support them. It's a long journey, and they're going to fail a whole bunch. But as long as you can help them get past that, or just be able to be there for them to talk to.
Yeah.
It's a huge, significantly different.
So you're saying you're lending your own mindset, you're lending support,
mm-hmm.
Maybe even some enthusiasm or some enlightenment, or are you trying to offer advice? Are these people even going to take any advice?
Of course you can, like, hey, do you want to go grab some lunch, or do you want to go grab some breakfast?
Right.
And then you talk to them like, well, these are the local homeless shelters, and these are the local re-education systems that will, help clean you up and get you, if you don't have your high school diploma, they'll help you get your GED, or they'll help you learn a trade. That way you can start taking steps forward.
Right.
As long as you can help them with suggestions and try to support them emotionally, that's pretty much all we can do.
I heard that it's a sea. Like an actual sea of people
mm-hmm.
that are homeless.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine seeing something like that for myself. I feel like it would wreck me on the inside. But I feel like I would want to go up and do something. But I don't even know how I would pick someone.
It's overwhelming, but you also have to think that a lot of people choose it as a lifestyle.
So you're saying there's a lot of people there that have decided in their life, I don't want to work for the man, maybe,
yes.
Or I prefer to just be on the free world side.
Like over here, we know a lot of people who want to live off the grid. They want to go live out in the middle of nowhere and have well water and no electricity and that kind of thing.
Right.
Not pay taxes, whatnot. Over there, it's the same idea, but they're okay with just living in a tent on the beach.
And it's 72 degrees, so it's not like they're sweltering at any time.
And there are a lot of services out there that do, come and hand out water and blankets and food and
that's cool.
haircuts,
That's cool.
dentists, that kind of
So
thing.
there are helpful services.
Yeah.
That's good. So on a lighter note, right? What's beautiful about it? I mean, I assume aside from the weather and the beautiful beach, what's great? I remember, what was the show? It wasn't Friends. Full House. Hills. All the hilly roads. Is that real? Is that
that
a thing?
is real. San Diego is perpetually uphill. Everywhere you're going uphill.
So if you're at the top though, you're going down, right?
You would think so. Everywhere you look, you're like, oh man, there's another one. Oh man, there's another one.
So everything's on a hill.
Everything's on a hill.
That's crazy. So tons of hills. That's crazy. I think that I would want to challenge myself to get on a bicycle and try and go up some of those hills. Because I'm in that zone right now, man.
Yeah.
I want to do it.
Yeah.
Did you try it at all?
No.
You wouldn't?
It would take me a while to get that kind of motivation because these hills are serious. Like my friend's apartment was literally like on this hill that it had to been almost 45 degrees.
I heard there's a lot of the electric scooters now out there, and they're having some sort of a problem with them.
Yeah, there's no way that some of those little scooters could get up some of those hills.
They can't make it up the hills.
There's just no way.
All right, well,
downhill would be fun, but
I bet it would be fun. Also, going down a bike, I bet would be exhilarating. I'm gonna have to try it one day. So, San Diego was good for you. Yeah. It was a good place to kind of just set back and let yourself kind of regroup, help out a friend, get him set up there. I assume he's still there.
He's there and he's doing well.
Okay, well that's perfect, man. So you decided to come back to Georgia.
Yep.
And you're here now. And what have you been doing since?
For about 2 weeks, I was babysitting my niece, helping my sister out. The single mom thing. And now that she's got a childcare worked out, my niece is in childcare during the week, and I've been looking for jobs up in Kennesaw.
Okay.
My brother got accepted to the School of Engineering up there.
The School of Engineering, what is that?
He's going to go for electrical and chemical engineering. Well, they don't have chemical, but it'll be mechanical base.
But electrical engineering.
Yeah.
I have a decent grasp. I guess I don't really have a decent grasp. I have somewhat of a grasp on what an engineer is. When I think about it in my head, they're designing something, they're creating something, or they're making something better.
Right.
I think that's the gist of it, right?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay, and so he's going to school for engineering at Kennesaw. Mm-hmm. Is it called State?
Yeah, Kennesaw State.
Kennesaw State. Okay, and what are his intentions after he gets done with this schooling?
I think once he gets done with his electrical engineering, he's going to go for his master's in mechanical.
Wow.
He just got out of the Marine Corps, so they're paying for it.
Oh, that's helpful.
Right. But my brother, my siblings, and I have all been extremely close. Like, he moved to New York with me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to move with him because he has been getting back in the routine to going with the VA, getting himself taken care of, and he's on a really good track, and I just want to help him out, make sure that he's good in a good place while he's in school.
Yeah.
And balancing out the VA at the same time.
So you're being supportive, man.
Yes.
It sounds like you've been doing a lot of supportive things.
I see myself as a tool. I've had a lot of experiences and a lot of learning experiences in my life, usually from failures.
Okay, so you've had failures, but you've taken those and you've learned how to motivate yourself from those failures.
I always pick myself back up.
Yeah, as you should, man.
And through all these experiences, I feel like I can help. Yeah. And especially my family. I'm always going to be there for them, and I'm going to help him on his path. And then once he's in a good place, I'm just going to work, do what I need to do, and move on from there.
What is your goal right now in life, aside from helping your family? Because I am a big person on doing something for you. Mm-hmm. I've been doing what you're doing right now for a really long time, trying to help other people, trying to support other people. And I want to continue down that path. Matter of fact, I want to do it more.
Yeah.
But I've decided that I'm going to start caring about myself more because I haven't for a long time.
Yeah.
So what would you say you're doing right now to care for yourself or to inspire and motivate yourself to keep going or to create something new in your life or just to start something fresh?
I've started going back to the gym tonight. I haven't been in a long time. I need to focus on my health.
Yeah.
I've got my mental health. I've been, going to my therapist, taking my meds regularly.
Plus meditation.
And, meditation has been a huge impact.
Yeah.
And it's, once I feel comfortable with where my siblings are, for me, I want to rebuild my savings and start putting back into my investment accounts.
Okay.
Because our generation, we're not really going to be able to retire.
Right.
But I would like to have enough in my investments in my portfolio so I don't have to work 40 hours a week for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to do that.
So, I love being outside. I love working, public service jobs.
Yeah.
Like I worked for the Water Authority for a while, and I loved it. I felt like I was making a difference in my community.
You are making a difference. You're making people's water clean, man.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What a fantastic thing to be doing in the first place. When I turn my faucet on and I get water out of it, I'm hoping that somebody cares enough to make sure that there's no poo in my drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's an amazing thing in itself right there. So that's very cool. So goal right now, you would say, is for financial stability.
Yep.
Or financial savings, or you're really thinking about the future, not even the near future. You're thinking about 20 years from now.
Right.
So you're setting yourself up for the distant future. I imagine you're trying to not have a lot of spontaneous spending.
I have this thing where when I got depressed, I would just grief buy shit.
Yeah.
And
we all go through it, man.
I've got that under control now. And now instead of doing that, I focus myself on, okay, I'm going to go take a trip.
Yeah.
I love going kayaking, so I'll go on a week-long kayaking trip down the river.
Let's get one single thing that you can think of in the last year that you have purchased that less than a week later decided wasn't a good idea.
Ooh.
Take your time. I'm sure everybody else is thinking about one too.
I bought festival tickets when I really didn't have the money for it.
Yeah.
And then it got a week away from the festival. I had to sell them because I was like, I can't go. I can't afford, to park there, to drive there, to eat. What am I doing?
But you did want to go to the festival.
Oh, I wanted to go. I love going to festivals.
Who wouldn't want to?
Yeah.
But you, at that moment,
it was an impulse.
Decided to yourself, I cannot do this right now monetarily, so I need to change this course of action that I've created for myself. I need to get rid of these tickets because they have to go towards something that's more useful in my life.
Yeah.
So I think that we all have gone through that exact same thing. Me going to the store and buying a brand new pair of headphones that I know I don't need, and I could totally just wear a $10 pair of headphones and not a $120 pair of headphones. So I get that. I've taken a few things back recently myself. So going for savings, going for the distant future, you got a good goal and supportive mindset right now. You're trying to just get yourself structured, it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
That's good, man. That's a good thing. Would you have any advice for anybody that's listening on what you think is the most important first step for reorganizing and restructuring your life? In any scenario. Something could apply to anybody.
I think the most important thing is you've got to love and respect yourself.
Yeah.
So if you're doing all these things for other people, I say I'm doing this to help my brother and my friend, that's only because I have been happy with who I am for a while. I know what I'm doing because it makes me happy and it benefits me as well.
Right. Because you're getting the satisfaction out of knowing that you're helping somebody else.
And I'm not just bumming around doing nothing. I'm actively doing other things to improve myself, like working or learning.
Yeah. Reading books, whatnot.
Oh yeah, I read every day.
I don't read many books, but I do a lot of research online, and I click on a lot of topics that interest me and just things that I want to dive down into a rabbit hole and really go in depth and learn about. And I've been opening my mind a lot recently, and it feels good to just kind of mentally work yourself out. You know, not just a physical thing, but just kind of go in there and learn something and really try for it.
Yeah.
You know, I read like the first 15 pages of a law book the other day, but online, you know, not an actual book. But I read the first 15 pages, and I got to like page 15 or whatever it might have been, and I thought, why am I reading this? This makes no sense to me. I've never had any interest in this in my entire life, but I'm reading a book that means nothing to me personally.
It's the thirst of knowledge.
It is a thirst of knowledge. I think that everybody should start doing something that builds your self-confidence, that builds your knowledge base up, that helps you learn something new to motivate you, or maybe you didn't know that you were interested in something. I'm not interested in law, but maybe I started reading that book and I just decided, hey, I like this. This might be a thing for me, right? I think it's really important. So motivation, self-motivation, right?
Right.
Hopefully you can be in a good place in this world to be comfortable and confident with yourself so you can actually help to motivate other people or to support other people as you're doing right now.
Yeah.
But hopefully soon enough you can start focusing on you.
Right.
And not having to continuously lend out all of the support, even though you know it's for a good reason.
Right.
Right? What do you want to leave people with, man? You want to talk about, plug yourself. You want to do an Instagram? You want to Facebook it? What do you want to put something out there, or do you just want to leave a message? What's up?
I don't really have a message.
You don't have a message?
Mm-mm.
Do you have a message on caring for your beard?
I've struggled.
You got
with
a good beard going there.
My beard care. I bought new clippers, and every now and then the guard slips off, and then I go down to nothing. So I pout for about 3 weeks until it grows back.
I've done it a million times, man. I'm in a zone right now with my beard where I wake up in the morning and I don't look at it on purpose.
Yeah.
And I just leave.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I see it in videos that I post on Instagram or wherever it might be later in the day, and I think I should brush it.
Yeah.
Or do something. I don't know. Trim it, probably.
Brushing, and actually there's beard oil.
Beard oil.
Beard oil, it really helps, like, thicken it out, smells good.
I need beard oil.
It's like Viking beard oil.
Viking?
Yeah.
I want a Viking beard. I was trying to grow my beard, you know, like, away from my face, in front of me. Like 300, you know?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Leonidas, you know? I'm trying to, like, kick people in the chest and just tell them, I don't remember what he said, but...
This is Sparta.
This is Sparta. Yeah, that'd be pretty good for me. All right, man. Well, Matt, I had a absolutely fantastic time talking with you. Thank you so much for doing this with me and telling me about what you've been going through recently in your life and what your goals and aspirations are right now. I think it's a beautiful thing that you're focusing on helping other people and self-care at the same time. That's a complicated thing to do, and I wish you the absolute best of luck with it. I will have you on the podcast again soon enough. I've got some few other people that I got to do this with, but I heard that you're a soccer fan, and I've recently become a pretty big soccer fan, and I would love to talk to you about that another time on maybe a different topic.
Anytime.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Matt. I appreciate it. Give you the handshake there.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Make sure that you stay motivated and care about yourself personally. Go out and help somebody. Go learn something. And just try and wake up and be happy. It's hard to do. It's hard to say out loud. But when you get up in the morning, drink some water and don't eat bagels and just try and be happy throughout the day. Work sucks, life sucks, but you gotta try and just better yourself. I appreciate you guys listening. We'll have something different for you next time. I have no idea when I'm going to post it, but it'll be up there soon enough. Have a beautiful night.